Pat, how are you today?
Bill, I'm doing great, man. Glad to be on with you.
Giants fans, this is Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On your exclusive home of the San Francisco Giants. KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
All right, welcome into a Saturday afternoon Extra Inning post-game show with Bill Laskey. A lot to celebrate today as the San Francisco Giants started off the day with a fantastic celebration to one, or I would say the best shortstop that's ever worn the San Francisco Giants uniform, especially number 35, Brandon Crawford. We didn't get to see it, the people that weren't at the ballpark, but we got to listen to it on KNBR's Dave Fleming was the host, and it was just a great, great event. We'll probably see it down the road, but today we got to enjoy it on the KNBR airwaves. And boy, 40,000 people were there early. Dave Fleming said it so many times, I've never seen so many people at the ballpark so early. But it was an array of ex-teammates, his family, relatives, the front office staff, everybody that had effect on Brandon Crawford. And Brandon, we've always known, was not a great speaker, doesn't like to speak publicly, but today he was fabulous. What a great speech he put on. And the last part of it was thanking the Giants fans, and I think that's what we want to do today in continuing the celebration with Giants fans. 415-808-KNBR. I want to talk more Brandon Crawford with you. What are some of the great moments that you had, how you met him, when you met him? He was fabulous, signing autographs, taking pictures in his 13-year career. But let's talk about this ball game, because we started with the celebration with Brandon Crawford, and we ended up with the fourth walk-off for the San Francisco Giants in such an exciting fashion in the bottom of the ninth inning with Patrick Bailey pinch hitting and getting a base hit and scored Elliot Ramos for the win. And this game was back and forth. Robbie Ray with one of his best outings so far this year in a San Francisco Giants uniform. He goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. The first 3 innings he battled, then he put 11 of them in a row, 11 Texas Rangers in a row. He started spotting his fastball, his slider, his curveball, and changeup. 4 pitches he was masterful in today at any time of any count. And he did it with Sam Huff behind the plate. I thought that was dramatic for a young catcher who played for the Texas Rangers, who was waived by the Texas Rangers, who ended up getting a nice double in the 5th inning. It was a spotlight on Sam Huff defensively as well as offensively. And today it just continued as Robbie Ray goes 7 innings, 97 pitches, 69 for strikes. I always talk about first pitch strikes, always do. Robbie Ray was there today, 21 first pitch strikes out of 27 hitters he faced. Just a brilliant, brilliant outing by Robbie Ray. And let's go right to the bullpen. Following him up once again, Tyler Rogers with a big 0 in the 8th inning. He goes 1 inning, throws 10 pitches, 7 of them for strikes. And Ryan Walker, after he had a nice outing yesterday where he went 1 inning, punched out 2, gives up 2 opposite field base hits to lead off the top of the 9th inning, and then he dials in a little pop-up, a bunt that was they were trying to lay down a bunt, a catch by Sam Huff on a ball that was pretty tough to catch because it wasn't hit that high on a bunt, and he catches it, and sure enough, that was 1 out. And then Ryan Walker dials in with 4 sliders to Josh Smith, a left-hander, punches Josh Smith out. And of all Giant fans, remember Jock Peterson, he comes up to pinch hit, and he dialed him in and punched him out with a 97-mile-an-hour sinker after he threw a couple sliders to him. The place erupted. The ballpark was crazy as the bottom of the 9th started with Elliot Ramos with a base hit, Patrick Bailey with a game winner, and the Giants win 3-2. One more game in this homestand. They're 4-2 on the homestand, 9-7 in this 17-game stretch. One more to go before the San Francisco Giants take Monday off. And the numbers just keep getting better and better. 10-4 in interleague play, 8-4 at home. Of course, they're 10-6 on the road. Versus left-handers, this is the number they're going to have to get better. 2-7, but against right-handers, 16-3. They had a tough one today. Tyler Mahle really stuck it to him for a long time. 5 innings, only giving up 8 hits, 2 earned runs. He came into the game with a .68 earned run average. He was tough. He really threw the ball well and had the Giants stifled. He couldn't get anything going until that 5th inning when Christian Koss ended up getting a base hit to right field, and Sam Huff hit a 3-2 fastball all the way out to right center field. Koss ended up stumbling around third base. It's still second and third, and Willie Adames comes in with a 2-0 fastball, hits a base hit up the middle, and the Giants finally scored. 13 innings they were shut out from last night's game, and in the 4 innings into this game, the Giants ended up tying that game and battled through it. But what a game. It was exciting from the first part of the game today with Brandon Crawford to the last base hit by Patrick Bailey. We're going to take a quick break. 415-808-KNBR if you were at the game. Love to hear what you talked about the celebration and Brandon Crawford. Love to talk to Giants fans on what you feel are some of the key points and some of the highlights that you remember about Brandon Crawford. We're opening the phone lines up. Got a great show adding in as we continue, but I want to talk to Giants fans about this game and also Brandon Crawford. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right now after we take a quick break on KNBR, the sports leader.
Your financial journey is unique, and Pettinelli Financial Partners is here to help you navigate it with confidence. So whether you're building your future or securing your retirement, their team provides lifelong personal guidance every step of the way. Start planning your financial journey today. Learn more at PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratus Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratus Wealth Partners and Pettinelli Financial Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with former Giants right-hander Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR. Play KNBR.
And Bailey swings and lines one into right field. Base hit, and the ball game is over. Just like that. First ball swinging. Bailey with a soft liner right past first with Berger 35 feet off the line. He had no chance to get it, and the ball's first bounce was still on the dirt before hopping into right field and crossing the plate. Elliot Ramos and the Giants win it on Brandon Crawford Day in a walk-off.
Back on the extra inning post-game show with Bill Laskey, as John Miller called it, Patrick Bailey on the first pitch he saw from Jacob Latz punched one out to right center field, and Elliot Ramos crosses home plate, and the Giants get their fourth walk-off this season. And it was really an exciting game from the beginning when Brandon Crawford's celebration. I loved one of the quotes he said, "I might be stepping away from the field, but I'll always be a Giant." That thing is just going to be etched in all of our minds and in our hearts, as Brandon Crawford for 13 years was one of the best shortstops in the National League, and 2 World Series championships, Gold Gloves, Silver Bat Award, so many different things this man did. And I was so glad that Buster Posey put this celebration together through the Giants and bringing him back after the fallout Brandon Crawford had with Farhan Zaidi, and Buster Posey bringing that back, bringing the heritage and the history of the Giants back into black and orange. All right, let's get to the phone lines, 808 KNBR. If you want to jump in, let's talk about the celebration as well as the game. Let's go to Dane in Sacramento. Dane, you're on the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. Celebrations both sides of the day today, in the afternoon before the game, and, of course, the walk-off. What'd you like best?
That's right, Bill.
I'm not hearing you, Dane.
Oh.
You're almost there now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
Can you hear? Right on. Well, how's it going, Bill? And you can't beat a walk-off no matter what the celebration before the game is. That's my opinion. But main thing I want to talk about, we got to wake up these bats. We're waiting until the late innings way too often, and we can't always count on that.
I have to agree right there, Dane. This offense has been stymied the last couple games. Shutout yesterday. That's their 4th shutout of the season. Today, it just took forever for them to even get guys in scoring position, and the double plays hurt them earlier part of the game. And sure enough, the bottom of the order ends up winning the game for them.
Yeah, you can't beat that production throughout all 9.
I think pitching also, too. The pitching was dynamic today. Robbie Ray, one of his best outings, using all 4 pitches. And, of course, Rogers and Walker put the zeros on the board. And I think that's a big, big plus the Giants have in that bullpen. They have just been solid so far in the 28 games they played.
Yeah, most definitely. Maybe the bats need Joe Boo and some new rum. Who knows?
Well, let's try it another time. But Dane, thanks for the call today. Let's go out to Andy. He's in Redwood City. Andy, a good celebration this afternoon and a better one with the walk-off. What'd you like better? Are you there, Andy? All right, we're losing these callers. I don't know what's going on. Let's go to Don in San Francisco. Don, you're on the Extra Inning Post-Game Show. How are you doing today? Are you there, Don?
Can you hear me?
I got you now, Don. How are you?
Yeah, this isn't Don. This is Andy.
All right, Andy from Redwood City. All right, well, I'm
cool.
mixing and matching, but we're going to get somebody on the phone lines today. How are you, Andy?
All right, fine, Bill. First-time caller. I love the walk-off. It was an exciting game. As your first caller said, I think the reason I called is because of the offense and the lineup that the Giants had.
Well, what would you do different in the lineup? What would you do different?
Well, it concerns me that Willie Adames, Elliot Ramos, and Matt Chapman are all 3 leading the team in strikeouts.
Mm-hmm. Their batting average are down, too. If you look at the batting
Both at
average,
30.
Ramos started with 222, Chapman 217, Adames 204, with three of the best right-handed power hitters they have, and there really hasn't been any power in this whole homestand.
Yeah, that's true. There hasn't been much runs generated or RBIs, of course. I think Yastrzemski and Fitzgerald have been playing good ball. Yastrzemski has the second highest ops at 904, next to Jung Ho Lee. And Fitzgerald has been playing good ball as far as the bat goes, too.
He got injured yesterday. I don't know if you knew that he got scratched out of the game. That dive he had into the fence ended up he was pretty sore today, so they scratched him and ended up putting Christian Koss in, which he laid down a beautiful bunt in that ninth inning and got a base hit to start that rally in the fifth. Let's just hope Fitzgerald doesn't go on the IL.
Well, yeah, I didn't know that. I did know he was out of the lineup today, which kind of surprised me, but I didn't know he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to see Yastrzemski playing every day, lead off, because he's been doing well. As far as the years go, he's been there for 7 years. This is the best start I've seen him have.
I agree with you.
Playing ball.
I do, and I like him in that leadoff spot, don't you? You like him in that leadoff spot?
I love him in that leadoff spot.
I do too, against right-handers for sure. He's been playing against left-handers too. They put him down in the order a little bit more. I mean, when you're looking at him, you're talking exactly what we're saying. 2 for 4 today. He went the opposite way. I love when he goes to the left field on that ball outside. Had a couple nice base hits. He's such a stellar outfielder in right field. I think he's one of the best that play at Oracle Park, and I just love him in that corner position in right field.
Yeah, I agree. He's a great outfielder. He's really a smart player. And Chapman is leading the league in walks, but on the team, Yastrzemski is right behind Chapman as far as the walks go. So he gets on base a lot. He's really discriminating with the pitches. And I'd love to see Chapman be much more aggressive. Yeah,
he takes a lot of pitches. I agree with you. His on-base percentage is high. Yeah, his on-base percentage because of the walks. He went 1 for 3 today with a walk with a stolen base. It's just difficult for him to bat fourth. You're putting a lot of pressure on him, especially when Willie Adames, he's starting to hit the ball a little better, but his numbers haven't even come close to what he's done in his career.
That's so true. So true. And I think with the amount of strikeouts, which don't help in any way, moving the runners along and so forth, those strikeouts really hurt.
They do. Let's just hope this, playing 17 straight games, these guys got to be getting tired. There's no question here. They're 9-7 with 16, one more left to go before they get Monday off. They go to San Diego for 2, and then they have Colorado for 4 coming home. Now they start playing the NL West a little bit, and that'll be a good comparison to the Padres for that 2-game series. And they got to take care of Colorado. Colorado's struggling the whole front part of the season so far, and they have to come in with that 4-game series and try to win 3 or 4 against them, as a lot of teams have dominated them so far this year.
Right. The Giants have been playing great ball. I mean, it's fun watching them play overall in general. And
I agree.
Different guys seem to come up in the lineup when it's needed. When some guys are weak, other guys pick up the slack in the lineup, which has been happening, which is great, which I haven't seen in other years. We'll see if they.
I disagree with you one thing. I think the bats have to wake up. The offense numbers are down. They have to get better at bats. They got to get out of these strikeouts. They had only 4 strikeouts today. They had 13 yesterday in that shutout. And I would love to see them put the ball in play some more like you were talking about. But thanks for the call today. I appreciate your time today, Andy. And call in more. Some good baseball chat right there. All right, let's go to Mike in San Francisco. Mike here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. A good win by the San Francisco Giants. They're 4-2 on the homestand. With 1 more game left, they could take the series with the Rangers tomorrow afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. That's fantastic. Andy, great call. I'm glad to hear you call in for the first time.
Yeah, I like the first-time callers too, Mike. And when you get a good baseball conversation going, definitely Andy had some statistics and some great knowledge on the hitting, and I agree with him. The bats have to wake up a little bit better.
He definitely had a feel for what's going on. Speaking of which, Ryan Walker. A couple days ago, Bill, I saw him lose faith in his slider, and that's his Landon Roop curveball. That's his go-to. And
yeah. I just think he overthrew him, don't you, Mike? Sometimes they overthrow the pitch. I've always talked about it. I was a slider sinker guy, not that big of a break like Walker had. Sometimes you overthrow it. Sometimes the anxiety on the mound, you want to make that perfect pitch, and you overthrow it where the spin can't catch up to the speed. And down in Anaheim, I thought that's what happened in that bottom of the ninth inning. The other day coming in, he just overthrew the sinker too, and you can see how the movement changes with the direction of the pitch. Yesterday and today, boy, he had that Ryan Walker pitch going. And even though the two hits were opposite field, they were not bad pitches at all. But the way he came back and punched out Smith and Jock Peterson, that momentum right there shifted right to the Giants for that bottom of the ninth.
And it's interesting to hear you say that, because I was just thinking he had kind of abandoned the pitch a few games ago when he suffered a blown save. But, I just think that with Ryan punching out that last batter with 97 on the sinker,
I know.
That's the top end of his arm.
That was impressive. That really was. Jock Peterson, he couldn't even sniff it yet try to hit it because that ball was on the outside corner diving down. I really thought Sam Huff caught a very good game today. Robbie Ray was magnificent as a starting pitcher. Tyler Rogers with his stuff coming in, bending this way, bending that way. And then you got Ryan Walker going the opposite way. All three different pitchers, Mike, had different arsenals, and Sam Huff managed it very well behind the plate today.
Absolutely, and I agree with you on him doing that consistently. Sam Huff has been great behind the dish as far as calling a game and catching a pitcher, and that's what he's brought. And furthermore, Koss and him today, when we're looking at the lineup and we're seeing Fitz scratched and we're seeing Bailey out of the lineup and Wade, who's struggling a bit, at the end of the lineup, we're like, oh, man, that's a 0 for 3, right?
0 for 6, 0 for 9, maybe, if you're thinking about it. But they came through. They came through, yeah. Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're pulling for. Mm-hmm. So, and these guys came through when we needed it. Just thought it was a great game, and I'm glad. It's always someone new. Every other day, someone's going to pick.
Yeah, and I think that's what the consensus is for Giants fans, and that's what makes this team exciting. Willie Adames coming up after Yastrzemski pops out to shortstop with a bad call on Christian Koss for not coming back to tag up on that play. And I felt the same thing Kruk, Fleming, and Miller were saying as Ahmed was going back. His momentum was going into the outfield, and it would have been a tough call for him to make that throw. I mean, his momentum wasn't going to home plate. And Kruk said, that was a bad base running blunder, but I didn't know if Williams had him coming back or he was going halfway. We don't know what Matt Williams was doing with Christian Koss at that time, but Willie Adames comes up right after that pop-up and gets that key base hit. And the Giants finally scored 2 runs after being shut out yesterday and then the first 4 innings. What did you think of that play? Do you think you should have tagged up?
Okay, that's one play I missed, but can I add something to that?
Sure.
Okay, Adames, Chapman, Bill, you might have noticed, brushed into Luke Jackson last night on his way back to the dugout. And Luke Jackson kind of laughed about it, and Chapman didn't. Chapman came in there today and tried to hit the first 2 home runs out to right field. He tried to put 2 balls in the water. And Adames,
going the opposite way.
Going the opposite way, right. So Adames gets on first and tries to steal second after that. So I was like, hey, take a step back. Chapman is determined to do some damage. He came up the next inning anyways and got a base hit and a stolen base to lead off the inning. It's like, I'm going to get that run back. But, the team's all playing for each other, and that's the end of that story. But,
it is. And I think today it just shows you they're grinding. And this is the thing about playing 16 straight games. You get in these scenarios, and like I said, when he struck Peterson out, you could feel the momentum. The crowd got into it. It was the bottom of the ninth inning. When Ramos got that base hit, that really made everything come to fashion in that bottom of the ninth. And then the bunt by Koss getting him over. They're just key plays. And you said it earlier, the bottom of the order set this up. Koss gets a base hit. Huff gets a double. Then in the ninth inning, Koss lays down a bunt. Bailey pinch hits for Huff, gets the game-winning base hit. And that's where that 8th, 9th hitters come in. So it was a good bottom of the order today, and I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. And let's see what they do tomorrow in this third game, rubber game against the Texas Rangers. But, again, thanks for your call today, and I appreciate your time. All right, this is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. We're going to take a quick break. 415-808-5627 is the number. Give me a call. Let's talk more Giants baseball. Let's talk a little bit about Brandon Crawford. If you coming from the game, love to hear your thoughts on the celebration that the Giants put on. I'm Bill Laskey. We're going to take a quick break. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
The pitch. A curveball is hammered deep right center field. Corey Hart is going back, and this one is gone! And Crawford has hit a grand slam. The rookie, in his first game, it's his first big league hit, and it's a grand slam. The Giants lead 5-3. And what a moment for the kid.
Back on KNBR, Extra Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. So many great memories on a 13-year career for Brandon Crawford in the orange and black. Great to see him, his wife, and 5 kids. It was just a great celebration for Brandon Crawford. Of course, we didn't get to watch it. We got to listen to it on KNBR right here live, and most likely we'll see some parts of it. Saw a lot of it from people that are putting it on X or Facebook that were at the game, and really appreciate all you fans doing that. We got to see some of the action. And I'm, like I said, 415-808-5627. That's 808 KNBR. Love to hear what you guys thought about the celebration if you ended up going to the game. And really, there's 2 celebrations. The first one with Brandon Crawford and the walk-off, which was dynamic for Patrick Bailey coming up to get a pinch hit base hit and driving in Elliot Ramos, who was at third base, and the Giants win 3-2. The rubber match tomorrow, first pitch 1:05. We're going to see the youngster Jack Leiter. Of course, he was a number 1 pick back in 2021. 25-year-old right-hander is going to be going. He's 2-0 with a .90 earned run average. Only threw 2 games. Threw against Cincinnati 5 innings. Then he threw against Boston 5 innings. Ended up having a blister on his middle right finger, and he ended up going on rehab. And tomorrow he'll be coming off of the IL and pitching for the Texas Rangers. Jordan Hicks on the hill tomorrow, and we're looking for a lights-out game from Jordan Hicks. Last game against Milwaukee, he went 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, just like what we saw from Justin Verlander yesterday, going 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. We saw Robbie Ray come back today and dazzled on the hill today, going 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Now it's Jordan Hicks time. We'd love to see what he did back in Philadelphia, where he went 7 innings from the 2nd inning to the 7th inning. He was lights out. So let's hope we get a good outing on Jordan Hicks tomorrow before the Giants finally get a day off, 17 straight. They will go through the 17-game stretch with a winning record. They're 9-7. It'd be great to see 10-7 and win another series, as they're 5-2-1 in series victory. So a good start right now. The Giants are 18-10. All right, let's get back to the phone lines. Let's talk to Tom. He's in his car. It sounds like he was at the game. Tom, you're on the Extra Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. How'd you enjoy the game?
It was great. Yeah, my wife and I went out there today. It was just an awesome day. Started out, with the Crawford celebration. We've been to a lot of these celebrations, but I don't remember a time when there were so many people in their seats at the time of the celebration. There had to be 30,000 people ready to go for that Crawford celebration. It was really, really great.
That's what Dave Fleming said. I think Dave Fleming said that as soon as he got on the mic. I've never seen so many people that early to a game. He mentioned it again on the broadcast, and I just think that's cool because we know the separation that Farhan Zaidi had with Brandon Crawford. So many Giants fans, including myself, thought that was a slap in his face. Buster Posey turned that bad boy right around and said, no way, I'm not letting this go. This guy was the gold. He was the man up the middle. He made so many great defensive plays, and I'm so glad the Giants put that celebration on for him, and I'm so glad you got to watch it.
Yeah, they did a great job. And then, it was interesting hearing all the ovations. Been to a few of these things. But one of the things I thought about, the ovation for Bruce Bochy really kind of showed me that the Giants fans feel like he's the foundation. He's the reason why the Giants were able to do what they were doing. I mean, Posey gets a great ovation. Obviously, Crawford does. But, man, there was a huge ovation for Bruce Bochy. And the Giants fans love this guy for good reason. I think he is the foundation for why why the team did what they did.
And I loved what he did. He got up and waved, took his hat off. The crowd gave him a standing ovation. He knows his heart's still in San Francisco. I think Giants fans wanted him to stay here. The nucleus of what Farhan did and his regime pushed him out. He's 70 years old. He's still winning with the Texas Rangers. He won another World Series over there a couple years ago, and he saw Brandon Crawford. Yesterday, before the game, him and Buster Posey were talking behind home plate. Those are his boys. Those are the guys that he went in the trenches with and won. And I love that with these guys showing them love back to him.
Yeah, it was an excellent day. Great way to finish it. And it was just a perfect day out there at Oracle.
Well, I appreciate the call. I'm so glad you and your wife had a great time. And how about that walk-off win? That even put an exclamation point on it. Yep, we gone. All right, let's go to Kevin in San Francisco. Kevin, you're on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. What did you like, the Crawford celebration plus the walk-off?
Oh, hey, Bill, I tell you, it was wonderful. My wife and I were out there, and I just dropped her off at Gino and Carlos. I'm hunting for parking. We're going to watch the Warriors. We're hoping for a doubleheader win. You know, I keep score when we go to the games.
Right.
And this one had me on the edge of my seat, you know, the strategy, the back and forth. Robbie Ray, I think you said 11. I think it was more like 12 or 13 in a row.
No, he put 11 down. He went up 11 down, and then he gave up a base hit, and ended up getting the next two guys out. So it really was just a dynamic job that he did. He went 3-0, and then he came back, and then a base hit by Smith, and he got a pop out to end it. But boy, he was dynamic from the 4th, 5th, 6th inning, 3 up, 3 down. Really cut his pitch count down. At one time, he had 8 pitches, 6 of them for strikes, then 12 pitches, 9 for strikes, and he really cut his pitch count down. At one time, he was at 48 pitches after 3 innings, and I was wondering, that was the inning he struggled a little bit. But, boy, he shut it down. That was the best I've seen him so far this year.
Yeah, this was about the 5th game we were at so far this year, and, boy, this was really a good one, man. We really enjoyed it. It was kind of went by quick, even though it was tense. It was a good day at the ballpark. The celebration was great, and if I can just throw in one negative real quick, Bill, I'm not even sure who to direct this to. Maybe the Giants promo people. So Brandon Crawford's celebration day, right? Mm-hmm. And in the Oracle Park era, you know, he's like one of the top 5 fan favorites. You got Barry, Timmy, Buster, and you got Craw, right? Mm-hmm. So here you go. It's a sellout, 40,000 people, and that's great because we all love Brandon Crawford. But what that meant was 25,000 people didn't get that T-shirt. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That just rubs me the wrong way. And I don't know, maybe the guys who were sponsoring it, Super Duper, would only spring for 15,000 shirts, but the Giants should have picked up the slack, man. A few weeks back, Ohtani's bobblehead day, 56,000 people, Bill. Everybody got one. You know what I'm saying? I agree.
And, and years back, they used to do 40,000 giveaways, 30,000. Now they've cut it back a little bit. I think it was only 20,000 or less that got T-shirts. And that T-shirt is a great memory of what Brandon did here for the Giants. And I'm sorry if you didn't get one, and I'm sorry for fans that didn't get them either. But just watching the celebration, bringing back a lot of his ex-teammates, his family, it was a big plus. And I think that's how we got to go away from it in a positive. And, I understand what fans want. Fans like things like this, and it's a momentum. It's not just a T-shirt to wear. It's something for a memory.
Yeah, and believe me, my wife and I, we got them. We got down there real early, and we made sure we got them. But I feel bad for people, especially people who maybe came from a longer distance, brought their kids. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I don't want to tie up any more of your time. Hey, I just want to say, Bill, we always enjoy listening to you, man. We go back to the days with you and Vida, great stuff. And man, just hope you stay on the radio for years and years to come.
Well, I appreciate your time, and hey, enjoy a good dinner, man. You better get in there. Your wife might be ordering your food for you. Take care. Thanks for the call. I appreciate your time. All right, let's go to Don in San Francisco. Don, you're on Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. How you doing tonight?
I'm fine. How are you doing today, Bill?
I'm doing good, my friend. They won today on a dramatic fashion with Patrick Bailey getting a game-winning hit, something that he needed to get a little momentum going with that stick of his. He's been scuffling, but I thought the whole day was just glorious for Giants fans. Crawford and all the ex-teammates and family members. We didn't get to watch it. I'm at home. I didn't get to watch it. I listened to it on KNBR, but it was still a great, great show the Giants did for Brandon Crawford.
I got 2 comments to make for you, Bill.
Sure, go ahead, buddy.
I'm concerned about their hitting. Yesterday they got shut out 2-0. Today they could have lost the game too.
Yeah. Well, the batting hasn't been consistent. I can tell you that right now, Don. But it's everybody that's participating in it. Sure, the batting averages are down, but it's been team wins, good pitching, good defense, timely hitting. Today they got through it. Yesterday, boy, they had a hard time getting a run across, 4 shutouts, but you got to look at this record, 18-10. That's pretty impressive, Don.
I got another comment to make. I'm just concerned about didn't have no days off like for 2 weeks the way I see the situation.
17 straight days.
That's 17. A lot.
Yeah, and I think the Kansas City Royals was the only other team that had that much of a stretch. Now, they took the blunt of it now. Now the rest of the year, they're going to have a day off pretty much every week on a Thursday in May. I'm looking at the schedule ever since after they come home after Colorado. Every Thursday is off, so the timing is going to be better for them. But boy, oh boy, you're talking about a stretch of games, 17 in a row. They got 16 done. They're 9-7 right now, Don. Very impressive with 1 more to go. And if they take this series, that will be really impressive. That will be 6 series they win, 2 they lost, and 1 they tie. Giants are playing good all-around baseball. Their offense a little dismal, but still they're getting through with it.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bill.
Don, appreciate your call. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Let's go to Ramon in Santa Rosa. Ramon, you're on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Good game today. A good series so far. A good homestand, I should say. They're 4-2 on this homestand with 1 left.
Yeah, how are you, Bill?
I'm good, my friend. How is my amigo?
I'm doing great. I'm driving to Santa Cruz. It's heavy traffic here.
I bet it is. It's a Saturday evening. What are you doing in Santa Cruz?
I'm taking my family there after watching the Giants game.
Yeah, you're going to have dinner over there in Santa Cruz?
We're going to spend the night over here in Santa Cruz, taking my son to the boardwalk.
Good. That's a fun time with the family.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Bill, who was your best manager and your best catcher while you were in the Major League?
My best? Well, I got to start off with Frank Robinson. He was my first manager that gave me that opportunity to come to the big leagues. He taught me a lot about pitching. We'd have conversations with each other in his office at times. I've learned a lot about pitching from him as one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball, and, of course, a Hall of Famer. And I would have to say, when you go back in my time, Bob Brenly and I worked really well together back with the Giants. And, you had an old-timer like Milt May. I don't know if you remember him, Ramon. Milt May was really one of my first catchers that kind of taught me how to work counts, he taught me what pitches to throw at different times, and he was an experienced catcher.
Yes, I remember him. Do you ever pitch against Terry Kennedy?
Terry Kennedy, yeah, he was a San Diego when I was pitching against him. Of course, he finished his career here with the San Francisco Giants. He was a tough out. He was a left-hand hitter that really pushed the ball to left field a lot. I had a nice interview with him last year. We talked a lot about catching, the new way of catching, and he was a son of a gun. He was a tough out.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, all right, Bill, so I'll let you go. Thank you very much, okay, and go Giants.
Ramon, have a great time in Santa Cruz. Be safe with your family tonight, okay, my friend?
Thank you, Guillermo. Take care, okay?
All right, my friend. Thank you, my amigo. Let's go out to Hayward and talk to Rick. Rick, you're on a Extra Inning Post-Game Show on a Saturday evening. Giants win today. They're 18-10 right now. Rick, what do you have to say about that?
I'm in shock. I mean, I'll admit. You knew I was going to give you a positive coming into you. You knew that.
I
know you knew that. I know. And hey,
I was listening last night. I couldn't call. I was working, but I was listening to you and Steve Kroner, and Steve hit it right on the. He was saying everything that I wanted to say to you on the phone, which is, how are they doing this with Wade hitting 104, with
Bailey hitting 165.
Bailey,
I mean, I loved what he did. He gave you the numbers, right? He gave like 6 numbers out, and then he said, "And how do they have 17 wins, Bill?" You know, that was a good one. Steve Kroner always loves to throw me curveballs, just like you do, and you know, it's all about what their confidence factor is, and somehow, some way, they're playing very well. I just look at the 16-game stretch they're on. That's a tough stretch. That's 16 straight games, and you're traveled from New York to Philly to Anaheim, and then came right back up here and played a 4-game series against Milwaukee. So one more day, and then they're going to drop off, and they'll probably sleep the whole day on Monday.
Yeah, it does. I would hope that they would get some rest and relaxation. I mean, I can't even imagine playing 17 games in a row.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I don't know what the league was thinking when they made up the schedule. I'm sure the Giants had a little chance to complain, but
I think what happens is they bring that to the players' rep, and each team has a player rep, and I think that's how they kind of look it over. And the player rep's probably saying, if we get through this in the month of April, look how many more days off we have down the stretch, because when you look at the schedule, they do have a bundle of off days. It helps when you're hot, and they are. They're 9-7. It's difficult when you have to travel and continue to do it. At least they got to travel out in the front of this long stretch, and they're home now. One more game left tomorrow. I really, really hope that Jordan Hicks comes out and throws a good game, because he needs to. You just saw Robbie Ray and Justin Verlander, I thought, through the best 2 games that they've gone in a Giants uniform so far.
Quit taking all my points, damn it. That's exactly what
I'm reading your mind, Rick. I'm reading your mind.
I'm reading my mind. I can't believe the way that we're pitching. Yeah, I mean, the team is pitching. I can't believe the way that our starters are suffering, but it's the pin. It has basically been the pin all year long, and it is so good. I get so mad at all these people complaining about Camille. Well, let's trade Camille. He's terrible. Well, if we didn't have Camille right now, where would this team be?
About 500. You'd be about 500 or close to it.
Well,
you're absolutely right.
I mean, right now we are 500. Since the 8-1 start, we're 500. We're 10-9, I think it is. So, but you got to look at the positive. Look at what Bailey did today. He took his bat and he went to right field. That was a perfect swing.
Yeah,
I mean, and we're doing exactly
ball's out of the zone too. Rick, the ball was down, and the ball was down below his knees, and he pushed it out there.
It was a slider. I don't know how you hit. I don't know how you hit that ball, but it was a perfect swing, and only Patrick Bailey, I know, when he's on, he can hit it to right field, and that's his hidden gem right there. Is he can go. He can.
What I thought was. I tell you what I thought also, as being a pinch hitter, you really stuck Bruce Bochy in a corner, because if he brought a right-hander in, he hit left-handed, and he brought in Latzwitz, a left-hander, and they flip-flopped, which I thought Bob Melvin had him right there. It was just the point: could he make contact and drive that run in? That was the first question I had as a pinch hitter. Sam Huff, I continue to say he had one of the better games in a Giants uniform. Nice 1 for 3 today. He hit that ball out to right center field on a 3-2 fastball. And I continue to say this, and you're probably hearing me say this, Rick, he caught a fabulous game behind plate today.
Well, a lot of people don't give enough credit to the catchers. I mean, it is so imperative that you have a good catching staff, and it looks like we do right now. Unfortunately, Murphy being on the disabled list like he is,
we really haven't seen anything from him. Last year and this year, it's just been mostly, a big contract that they had to eat. and he really hasn't done anything. Tom Murphy is who we're talking about. But, picking up Sam Huff and going up against his Texas Rangers that he played on, they gave up on him, put him on waivers. The Giants pick him up. Kruk was saying, hey, this is like a World Series of him going up against his team. And it does. You have a little extra drive when you're looking across and you're seeing a team that you thought you were going to be a big part of, and the next thing you know, you're shipped out. And he's smiling. There's no question about it, Rick. He's home smiling about that double he hit.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, good for Brando to get his kudos today.
I am glad
really
for that
appreciative
too.
of the way, and I agree with Marty. Marty's the one that brought this on. The Giants need to. Your last caller that complained about the shirts and the giveaways, Marty was the trumpet for saying, hey, you got 40,000 people to the game, you give 40,000 things away, even if you have to make up the difference. And
that's been going on for years when they cut it back, too. They used to do that all the time. That started with the bobbleheads, and then, I loved what he said with Ohtani down in L.A. Those people were waiting there 3-4 hours just for a bobblehead. Giants fans they need to get this. They need to ditch this back and do it right. But at the same time, what a great celebration. They brought a lot of his teammates and family members. And we didn't get to watch it. I didn't get to watch it. Saw a lot of it, like I said, on X and Facebook for fans putting it out there. But I'm just so glad KNBR stepped up and said, if we can't watch it, let's listen to it. And Dave Fleming did an awesome job today.
Yeah, it was awesome. Hey, Bill, good talking with you.
Yep, Rick, thanks again, man. Let's hope for a win tomorrow and get that off day and see what they do against the NL West next week. Appreciate your time. All right, we're going to take a quick break on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Bring back some more calls, 808-5627 with a 415 area code. Of course, that's 808 KNBR. Everybody keeps saying I need to say 415. Okay, 415-808-5627. There you go, fans. I said it correctly. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports Leader.
Your financial journey is unique, and Pettinelli Financial Partners is here to help you navigate it with confidence. So whether you're building your future or securing your retirement, their team provides lifelong personal guidance every step of the way. Start planning your financial journey today. Learn more at PettinelliFP.com. The financial consultants at Pettinelli Financial Partners are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Stratus Wealth Partners, a registered investment advisor. Stratus Wealth Partners and Pettinelli Financial Partners are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Bill is back.
Fired up, bringing it, all excited.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Listen on your Google Home smart speaker by saying play KNBR.
Here's the pitch. Betts lines one. Caught by Crawford. A leaping catch at shortstop to rob Mookie Betts of a hit that almost certainly would have tied this game, and who knows after that.
All right, back on the Extra Inning Postgame show on a Saturday. Giants win a thriller at Oracle 3-2 on a walk-off base hit by Patrick Bailey. Elliot Ramos started off that ninth inning with a base hit, a walk by Lamont Wade Jr. Christian Koss lays down a beautiful bunt, and Bailey pinch hits for Sam Huff off Jacob Latz, a left-hander, the first pitch he sees, a slider down across the plate, and he pushed it out to right center field, and the Giants get their fourth walk-off in the 2025 baseball season. They're 18-10, 4-2 on the homestand. One more game tomorrow, and that'll stop the 17-game stretch that they've been on all the way back when they went to New York and played the Yankees. They played 3 there, beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. They went to Philadelphia, went 2-2 against the Philadelphia Phillies, went down, played the Anaheim Angels, lost 2 out of 3, came back up here, played the Brewers. They won 3 out of 4, and let's hope for 2 wins tomorrow to get 2 out of 3 against the Texas Rangers. A tough task. The Rangers have been playing good baseball. Their pitching has been really solid, and they've been playing great defense. No question about it. Ahmed today, of course, we remember Nick Ahmed back with the Giants. He had some gems at shortstop today, really played well, and he's been filling in and doing a good job when Corey Seager's been out with a hamstring pull. And tomorrow we get to see the right-hander, Jack Leiter. Of course, he was a big first-round pick back in the 2021 draft, 25 years old, coming back with a blister problem he had on his middle finger. He was on the IL. He had pitched twice, once against Cincinnati and once against Boston. We'll see what the Giants can do against a right-hander. They're really hitting the ball well against right-handers, 16-3 this season against right-handers. It's the left-handers they're having problems with as they're 2-7. And, of course, Jordan Hicks on the hill tomorrow for the San Francisco Giants. Let's get back to the phone lines. Let's go to South San Francisco and talk to John. John, good game today. Nice celebration. What'd you think of both?
Hey, Bill. How are you? How's it going?
I'm going good, buddy. Good game today. Good walk-off of yesterday, that shutout. You know, you look back at these shutouts. They had 4 shutouts, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 1-0. And each time those shutouts, they seem to have double digits in strikeouts. Had 13 yesterday. Today, they struggled those first 4 innings, no question. Came back with 2 in the 5th, and they win it in the bottom of the 9th. It's just been a fun season. Haven't you thought so, John?
Yeah, it is, actually. It's been a fun season, Bill. Actually, I was there opening day against Seattle, and I remember Brent Leonard was on the mound. I know he didn't have his best stuff against Seattle, but, you know, I can't say it's early right now, but, you know, I mean, you know, he's going to get, hopefully he'll get some wins someday. I mean, he deserves it.
He's deserved it, hasn't he? The last couple of games he's pitched well.
I know.
In Anaheim, and then yesterday, both games, six innings, giving up only 2 earned runs. And yesterday I thought he had everything going, just like Robbie Ray today. That was the best I've seen him pitch. And he had 4 pitch mix going.
Yeah, Bill, I was actually at the game today. What a ceremony for Brandon Crawford. It was amazing. I grew up watching him when I was like 15. With him, you had him, you know, great shortstop when he came out during the Milwaukee series in the Grand Slam. Playoffs came up big, and no doubt about it, he was huge when he came up when he played with the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why I enjoy watching him. And shout out to Robbie Ray today, Bill. I believe he had 8 strikeouts. I was at the game. I was actually doing book as well to the game today, Bill. So
he had 8 strikeouts. He really pitched good today. I mean, this is some of the things he did with a 4-pitch mix, the fastball, the curveball, the changeup, the slider. And you look at what the numbers were, 43 fastballs, 22 sliders, 20 changeups, and 12 curveballs. That's why I'm saying when you get confidence in throwing what you want to throw at different counts, that was the first time we got to see him throw that changeup as much as he did in spring training.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. And another thing is, I was kind of getting a little worried during in the middle of the innings. I was like, oh man, we got to get to this pitching valley. who I mean, I got to take my cap. Who really pitched well. I mean, I know it's early. If the season, let's just say if the Cy Young Awards were today, I feel like that guy Tyler Malley, if I said his last name correctly, help me out if I might be wrong, Bill, on this one. If let's say if the Cy Young Awards were today, he will probably be the American League Cy Young Award winner.
He pitched really well the last couple outings. I was really worried about that. I mean, he had 5 nice starts. He only gave up 2 earned runs coming into this game.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Bill. And how about Willie Adames coming up big? I mean,
that was huge.
Yep. That was really huge. I mean, and then, well, actually, Christian Goss was probably the highlight when he slipped down when he was running the bases. It kind of reminded me. I was trying not to laugh, and if I heard John Miller, he was probably going bananas. If he was, I didn't have to get him on the radio. I can imagine John Miller will say, "What in the world is Christian Goss doing?" I was saying to myself in my own eyes, like, "What are you doing?"
Well, the other thing too, after he stumbled, and I brought this up earlier. He didn't go back to the bag to tag up with that little pop-up that Yaz went.
No,
and that was the one that I really was. I just didn't understand what he was doing. Now, I don't know. We don't know if Matt Williams said go halfway. We don't know what Matt Williams said to him. But if that was on him, he should have went back to the bag because you saw it as well as I did. Ahmed was going backwards into the outfield, and there's no way you can get a momentum throw from there.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't challenge a fly ball if the infielder is catching it, I don't know if you want to test or not. You don't know what kind of arm he has. That's the question. And then, I coach baseball as well. Like what I also told base runners, like 2 outs, you got to be going. You got to know the field well as well too. Because you got to, like if I was a base runner, you got to go as well. And
it was just a bang-bang play, and I liked what you said about Christian Goss. He started that inning with a base hit to right field, and it was really a nice at-bat. But the bunt in the 9th inning was displayed so well. He got out in front, laid it down the third base line. It was beautiful how he approached that bunt where he didn't push the bat up. You're a coach. You understand what I'm saying. He let the ball travel to him. And I always say this about Joe Morgan. He taught me how to bunt. Put a glove on the back of your bat and make sure you catch the ball because then you won't pop it up. And we saw that earlier when the Ranger guy popped it up.
Yeah, I was like, that was a huge pickup play by Sam Huff. I mean, I thought Sam Huff played pretty well today, Bill. When he saw that bunt coming up, I was like, oh no, I'm like, please get this. Like, because I got a little worried in the 9th inning when Walker came in. I was like, my reaction was, why did it should have kept Tyler Rogers in on the 9th if it was a tied ball game,
Yeah, they haven't pushed Tyler into 2 innings yet. And I've said that a couple times. Why don't you go out 1 more inning? They just want him to pitch that 7th or 8th inning. He's been lights out. Right. I still think he is the all-star of that bullpen. He has just been dominant all year.
Bill.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, Bill, I also want to bring up today's ceremony. Bruce Bochy, I mean, what a nice standing ovation he got. He didn't know what exactly to do. His reaction, like, what? Do I tip my cap? Do I wave to the crowds? Like, I mean, Bochy is going to Cooperstown one day. I see a phone call from the Base Writer Association. Bochy would be in the Hall of Fame. Dusty would be in the Hall of Fame. And my other questions, Bill, is about the prospects. I believe it's Carson Risenhunt, if I'm saying correctly.
Yeah.
Do we see him coming up? He's doing fantastic. Do we see him coming up, or is it just too close to call?
You stole my thunder here, John. I did an interview with him, and that interview is going to be on tomorrow on Extra Innings, so you're going to hear Carson Risenhunt and I talk about pitching. Great call there. But I had a nice conversation with him latter part of this week, and we talk about a lot of things that he's changed. And when you start looking at numbers, and he talks about not walking people, he's only walked 2 hitters in 4 starts, and he's got about 28, 29 strikeouts, and he has been dominant in AAA. He's that guy that really has started to get eyes open in AAA. Of course, Kyle Harrison's also throwing the ball good, but you got a lot of young arms down there. Of course, Jelly's down there, Beck's down there in the bullpen. It's going to be hard to break this. It's going to be hard to get into this bullpen. And these starting pitchers, the older guys, Robbie Ray and Justin Verlander, are starting to get the feel of pitching. And that is just showing some great signs with them.
Yeah. And another thing is, Bill, I mean, if they can win the series tomorrow, Jordan Hicks just needs to keep the ball down in the zone.
Yep.
And
I agree. He's got to throw strikes. Got to throw strikes. He's behind too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
too much.
I guess is what you call it, command. Is that correct? If I'm saying correctly,
yeah, command. Well, let's look at this one, John. Look at this one. How many walks Robbie Ray had in Philadelphia, in New York, and today,
none.
21 first pitch strikes for 27 hitters, 1 walk. And that was dynamic. That was in that third inning when he struggled a little bit. Still got out of it with only 1 run. But I thought he was just dominant from the third inning on, fourth, fifth, sixth inning, 1, 2, 3 innings. He finishes it in the seventh inning, gives up a little base hit, but he finishes it up. And I thought that was just a good moxie for him to move forward. He just went 7 innings. That was the first time that he went 7 innings since August 28, 2022, and that was before he had Tommy John. So if you don't think he's smiling walking out of that clubhouse today, he just proved himself a lot. He proved himself with a lot of confidence and gusto of going deeper into the games, and I think that's what we saw today.
And absolutely. And the other thing is, Bill, I thought, that Patrick Bailey came up big. I mean, that was huge for the Giants today. Hitting that
first
walk-off,
pitch, too. How about that? First pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. First pitch. I was like, I thought Boch was going to intentionally walk him. That's my reaction. I was like, I thought they were going to pitch around against the Avs. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, they're going to walk Bailey.
That's not a bad idea. I never thought of that. And you had Yastrzemski going lefty against lefty because he brought Jacob Latson. And that's a good call. I never thought of that. And that could have happened. Loaded him up going lefty-lefty.
Exactly. And then I also want to bring up like Luis Matos. I know I don't know what you call it, a up and down year, I guess, or I know he doesn't get not playing time, but I do like Matos. The way his style, he has speed, he has good, fielding the outfield, and then hitting wise, it's gonna get there for him one day.
I do too. It's so difficult to get at bats. It's so difficult. Then when you get in there, you get 4 at bats, and you're so anxious, and you swing at the first couple bats, and you pop it out or ground out, and you're running back to the dugout going, man, I'm 0 for 2 now, and you're looking up at the batting averages, and I think that's what Lamont Wade, I wish they'd just take the batting average off the scoreboard when he comes up there. He's hitting the ball a lot better than what his average is. I hope Patrick Bailey with this base hit gives him a little gusto for tomorrow's game. You got to take these little strides of getting a base hit here or getting a guy over. Those are little positive points that these guys have to get back going to get these batting averages back up.
Absolutely. Bill, when the Giants were at Yankee Stadium, I felt like that game at Yankee Stadium felt like it was like a playoff atmosphere, that game.
Yeah. That's what's great about going to those big. Same thing in Philadelphia, Citizens Park ballpark.
Citizens
those are good games. That was a tough road trip.
Place to play.
Yeah, you go on that road trip and you go 2 out of 3 in New York and then split a 4-game series with Philly. I mean, that was a tough road trip. And then you go fly cross country. They played a late game, so now they're getting into Anaheim, midnight, 1 o'clock. And people are like, oh, Bill, don't make excuses. Well, you know how you feel when you go cross country on a flight. The next day, it's not really that. It's the second day is when your body really takes over on it. They play tough, but they lost on a shutout on Friday when Webb threw that gem. They still had opportunities to take 2 out of 3. It didn't happen. But when you look at overall, John, 18-10, very impressed how this team's done.
I really like the record, and I just can't. I'm just having too many nightmares at 0-2. Oh my gosh. I remember.
Well, thanks, John. I appreciate your call today. Call in more. Some good baseball talk, and I appreciate your time today.
Absolutely, Bill. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right. Take care of yourself. Let's go out to Sacramento and talk to Ron. Ron, you were at the game today. Tell me a little bit about that ceremony for Brandon Crawford.
Absolutely. My wife and I were there. It was absolutely gorgeous. We want to thank the San Francisco organization for putting on such a great
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah.
A
lot of players too, a lot of ex-players, a lot of it was cool how they brought in all different type of teammates from Matt Duffy, Joe Panic, of course Hunter Pence spoke, I just liked how the whole thing. Of course, I didn't get to watch it. I wasn't at the game, but KNBR aired it.
Oh my God! You need to get it on a replay and just.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the highlights on Facebook and X, which I really appreciated fans doing, and I got to watch a little bit of it. But just the whole ceremony, and I can only tip my hat for KNBR to put that on live.
Yes, KNBR, that was awesome. Also, yeah, we were looking at the schedule, and it was Brandon Crawford Day, and we got tickets like way early. It was so many people.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Of course, the game preceded a nice walk-off win, and that was just a good time for you at Oracle Park today.
Oh yeah, we're there constantly, but weather was beautiful. It's raining now on the way home, but it opened up for them. And it's like, what's bothering me is that these people are, they need to do this, they need to hit that. They played good ball. They played small ball today. They got hits. They got their thing. Ray, I call him Ray. Pitched absolutely beautiful game. And then
it was a fun game, and you know, when you start that ninth inning, when Walker gives up the first two hits, you're like, uh-oh, not good. But, boy, he pitched out of it, and then he punched out Jock Peterson. And as you as a fan, you felt that momentum change. And I saw it on television as well as listening to the game. The momentum just seemed like it changed over, and all the Giants fans got into it, and the players came through, which was great.
Well, I had these three little kids, well, not little, but Little League players in front of me, and I said, time for rally caps. Put on our rally caps, and sure enough, they came through. Everyone was going, rally caps. So,
That's great. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the game, and I appreciate the call. And these are the things that you like. You like to hear from fan reactions on the ceremony as well as the game, and let's hope they win tomorrow and have a great homestand.
And another thing is everybody's coming through. You know, I mean, Jung-Hoo Lee went 0 for 4. Lamont Wade, but then Huff and Koss, get the base hits, and they start that.
Yeah,
and that's
bottom of the lineup. Yeah, and that's what's great about it. Everybody's pitching in, and everything's happening in a positive way. And the pitching today was dynamic with Ray, Rogers, and Walker gets the win. And he's had a tough week, but at the same time, it was a good win overall.
And that's what you want to see, a team
Well, I
win.
Appreciate your time today, Ron. Appreciate the call, and be safe driving home. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Orlando and talk to Josh. Josh, you're on the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. A good ceremony, a great win. What'd you have to think about it?
I really did catch up on a little bit on the ceremony. I watched Buster Posey receive the first pitch, and I think Tim Lincecum should be next on that mound and be celebrated.
Good call. I like it.
I hope that happens. One thing, I've been watching Robbie Ray the last few weeks. He's a changed man since spring training. Nothing but confidence has been coming out of this guy. If you look how he was pitching in late innings, which I tuned in when Fox was doing the broadcast, and he looked great.
Oh, he looked great in the middle innings. No question about that. And you start looking at what he's done so far. Of course, he's 3-0. He beat Cincinnati, Seattle. Only got 4 innings with the Yankees, but that was that rain game that they ended up delaying, and then they postponed the game. He got the win. Philadelphia struggled a little bit. Went 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 walks. Came back with Milwaukee, pitched a pretty solid game, going 5 innings, only giving up 2 earned. But I thought today, Josh, he used all 4 pitches at all different ways during this game. And in the middle part of the innings, him and Sam Huff were dialed in. Not many pitches that he shook off, and he used the changeup more, the slider more, threw a little off-speed curveball, and, of course, the fastball. He was bringing it at 96 today.
That's terrific. Everybody around baseball is talking about how these guys are not hitting. It's the first month of the season. Give it a little time, and everybody's lineup around the league is going to hit.
You're so right, and you start looking at bats. I mean, Jung-Hoo Lee has 100 at bats. Chapman, 92. Flores, 94. Ramos, 100. You can't really judge professional hitters on 100 at bats. They're going to go up and down. They're going to have slumps. They're going to get hot. I would like to see better contact, especially like yesterday. They lose 2-0 with 13 strikeouts. I'd like to see more better at-bats, putting the ball in play, and we've talked about it so many times on this show and many other shows about trying to go the opposite way, waiting for that ball to get in the strike zone a little bit more and shooting it the opposite way. I love when Yaz does it. Willie Adames does it. Chapman does it. But I'd like to see a little bit more of that when time comes at getting a runner over or even driving a run in.
Yeah, I think Pat Burrell's working with the guys. They look like they've been taking it the other way. But it's what they could do against that 2-game series in San Diego. They go in there and show the NL West what they got. It'll be impressive. So
I agree. I appreciate your call, man. I really appreciate your call. 2 games against San Diego, 4 against Colorado before they really hit the road again. But I appreciate your time, Josh. Thanks for the call. And tomorrow, again, Jack Leiter on the hill for the Texas Rangers in the 3rd game of the series. He's 2-0 with a .9 earned run average. He's only pitched 2 games. He had a blister on his middle finger that he went on the IL, ended up going to AAA and pitched on Tuesday, where he went 4 2/3 inning, only giving up 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. So he gets the start tomorrow. Patrick Corbin was supposed to get that start. I was surprised that they changed that, especially when you look at what the Giants can do against right-handers. They're 16-3 and lefties 2-7. I was a little surprised that they didn't stick with Patrick Corbin. So let's hope the Giants can launch a little bit on Jack Leiter, get some early runs, and get Jordan Hicks a win here. He's been pitching lately. He's been struggling, and I think a couple runs would help him just to get going here. If he gets a good rhythm like we saw in Philadelphia, he'll get length. Let's just hope that happens tomorrow. All right, let's go to Pete on the Peninsula. Pete, you're at the game today for Brandon Crawford. How are you?
Yeah, hey, I called last night. I told you the Giants will be playing Buster Ball, man. That's I love it that they come through in the clutch. But the reason I called is I'm glad that they did what they did for Brandon and his family. As a Giants
Buster
fan,
Posey, no question, Pete. No question. Yeah. Buster Posey did that for his friend. You heard it in his speech. You heard about all the different bus rides and airplane rides and all the different drives they had together. They're friends, they're teammates, they're loyal to each other, and no question that's what Buster Posey's doing for all these guys that won all these World Series, as well as the other teammates he had. You saw Gary Brown out there today, who was part of the Giants organization. Joe Panik, Hunter Pence. You saw a lot of good quality players there, and that means a lot. That means a lot to Brandon Crawford.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought him back. I wish they'd have gave him his contract in a year, but that's water under the bridge. But he's a Giant forever. I loved his line. You know that they're all going to be one. Those guys, what they did in that 6 and 5 year span, it was like the Yankees.
It was remarkable. It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and you looked at all the great plays. You saw the highlights, the video of it. And not just the offense or the defensive side, the offensive side. He had a lot of key hits, especially the grand slam in Pittsburgh in the elimination game. And there's so many different things he did. He wasn't just a shortstop. He did a lot on and off the field. He did a lot for people and fans. That's what I loved about him. I got to know Brandon for many, many years. He's a quality person, and he's a great family man.
Yeah, and I like that he's homegrown, too. It was awesome to see his career. Anyway, thanks a lot. Good talking to you, and go Giants.
Appreciate the call.
One more tomorrow.
One more tomorrow. Let's win this series. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Berkeley and talk to Andrea. Andrea, good game today. Of course, a celebration from Brandon Crawford highlighted the beginning of the day, but boy, that game was a nail-biter.
Yes, that was truly a magical day, a wonderful Brandon Crawford celebration day at Oracle Park. And it was interesting when Kruko was talking about it. He said, I happen to be born January 21st also. and I have 5 children. Crawford's going to have more, but I have 5 children, and I'm born January 21st. So
that was funny. I didn't hear that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was on the KNBR broadcast. And kudos to KNBR was the next best thing to being
I really
there.
thought that was very classy of them,
Yes,
and they
very.
saw it where the game was on Fox. Nobody could really watch it. Of course, you probably did what I did, saw some highlights on X and Facebook
Yes.
and Instagram.
And
I'm
YouTube.
glad fans did that because we got to watch some of it, listen to the whole thing. Dave Fleming did an outstanding job.
Yes.
Of course, Larry Bear spoke, Hunter Pence spoke. It was just a good quality ceremony. Of course, the Giants do the best.
Yes, and it's like, oh my gosh, Matt Duffy's there, Rally Skeeter. So it just brought back all these wonderful memories and all these magical moments from Crawford's career. Like you replayed the Grand Slam and his first at bat, and just all these wonderful hits that he had, and 7 hits, I think it was.
Yeah, in Miami. He did that. He sure did. And the other thing, too, Andrea, it was the smiles, wasn't it? It was just the love from the players to generate to him like, hey, we respect what you did here. And the fans respect how you played for us. And that's a big part of these ceremonies. It just shows the player how much fans really appreciate what they're paying for and what they're watching. And they saw how he dazzled them with some of their defensive plays and the 100% he gave all the time. And you always hear about things in the clubhouse, a quiet leader. He was that guy. The one guy that I was a little upset that wasn't there was Brandon Belt. Where in the hell was Brandon Belt today?
Oh, yeah, they were quite the teammates, the two Brandons. Yeah, where was Belt, actually?
I don't know. That was the one guy I thought for sure was going to be there, but something happened maybe in the schedule. And Madison Bumgarner, another one that was part of Brandon Crawford's career. A couple players that coulda, woulda, that should have been there, but they weren't. But still, it was over the top.
Yeah, no, I know Crawford gave Bumgarner a lot of run support back in the day.
That's
and so on. And, he's January 21, 1987. I mean, Brandon Crawford, just that humanitarian Aquarian, very friendly, and born in Mountain View. And, we all saw the pictures of him as a little boy wanting the Giants to stay.
It's all good stuff, Andrea. Yeah. It's just all quality stuff for a 13-year career here.
Yes.
And of course, he finished with the Cardinals for 1 year, and all the different shortstops that wore number 35, from Chris Spire to Rich Aurelia, and then of course he always loved Royce Clayton. That was the guy that he always cherished and watched him when he was in high school. And you start thinking about all the history the Giants have, and you start thinking about all the best shortstops. He's got to be at the top.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely. He just had the fielding, the timely hitting. It just epitomized a storybook career. He really did. And growing up rooting for the Giants, and, it doesn't get much better than that. And 2 World Series wins, All-Star, the Gold Gloves, truly a very, very special player.
An elite player. And I'm glad that came out today. Of course, I'd love to watch it. We'll probably see it later in some video. But overall, it was a good game to finish it off, a walk-off.
Yes,
a great
nice
ceremony.
and
I leave it with this, Andrea. Thank you for the call. Best for last today.
Yes. Oh, bless your heart, Bill. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Andrea. All right, coming up next, one of the favorites of mine, Tim Flannery. I sat down with him, had a great conversation. Of course, Tim Flannery knew Brandon Crawford all the way back when he first came up from the minor leagues. And I sat down with some of the memories that Tim Flannery had. And that's coming up next right here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Sit back. This is a great conversation. And the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Flannery, are up next on KNBR, the sports leader.
It sound right, boy. It sound right, boy.
The game may be over, but we know you want to talk more ball. So KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey continues.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
We are KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. This afternoon, the San Francisco Giants honored Brandon Crawford in a great 13-year career with the Orange and Black. Today, I get to highlight him with one of the best third base coaches the Giants ever put out there. He played 11 years with the San Diego Padres. He came over in 2007 to 2014. Let's welcome in Tim Flannery. Tim, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Bill. How you all doing?
We're doing great up here in Northern California, and a great event today for Brandon Crawford. Buster Posey wanted to make this happen, and what a glorious day it was here. Some great people on the field. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Brandon Crawford. In 2011, he got drafted. He got brought up into the big leagues, but he was a college recruit. He played at UCLA for 3 years. I thought that was a big advantage for him. What did you see from him as a rookie when he first came up?
Well, even in spring training, the first time we saw him, you knew that he had the great feel for the game, you know, and I'm sure playing at UCLA like that and then growing up also a fan of watching the Giants all the time. I know Ronnie Wotos used to say he has a great clock in his head, which, as you well know, when we were rookies, that clock can speed up so fast because the game is so much faster at the big league level than it's ever been at any other level. So he could slow games down, making plays, and he could breathe, and he wasn't caught up in all the excitement. And I think that was a big thing for him to be able to stay there, because he came up because of his glove. He really learned how to hit at the big league level by being in the big leagues and making adjustments, and he's just a pro. I had so much fun watching him come up through as a young man and grow into not only the best shortstop in the game, but also a team leader and a great family man as well. I mean, he's everything San Francisco would love and did love, and they cherish him. And I'm so great that Buster and the Giants decided to honor him.
Well, Tim, let's break down a couple highlights of the Brandon Crawford career, and I think the first thing we're going to do is the full 4 Gold Gloves. He got that in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2021. When you break down these years and what he did, 13 errors in 631 chances, 11 errors in 633 chances, 11 errors again in 606, and then 9 errors in 515. That was the first 4 years when he won the Gold Glove. You look at what he did as a fielder, the one-hand pickups, the up-the-middle gloves, flipping it to second base, the backhands in the hole at shortstop, throwing guys out, and, of course, his fly balls out in short left field where he caught him over his shoulder. Love to hear what you think about all this.
No, you're exactly right. And what he always did is make the routine play. We all saw the phenomenal plays, and he practiced those, too. I mean, this stuff doesn't just happen. He would take easily 100 ground balls every single day, and you'd have to back him off at times as the season went. But he understood all of it. He understand how the art of feel. The great Alan Trammell, the Hall of Famer, used to say, whatever happened to the art of feel? And that's what he had. He could feel defensively where he should be, the situations where he should throw. For me, there's 2 other things that need to be brought up. He became the greatest base runner I ever coached. And I coached, I had a year with Ricky Henderson, and I'm talking about overall, not the fastest guy, but the smartest guy that knew when to push the envelope, when to back off. The scoreboard will tell you how to play the game and how to run the bases. He was never, ever not prepared in the sense of knowing the runners, the base runners, the outfield arms. But what he did more than anybody, he put fear in third base coaches on double cuts, on cut and relays when he would go out, because he could go out further than anybody because he had a cannon. I think about Tulowitzki. He was that way as well. They could go out there and get a cutoff and relay, and they're going to be totally accurate on the throw to the plate or the throw to third base because they practice it. You have to practice all that stuff, and it's not something that just happens. So he became just every part of the game he excelled at, and that was because of his hard work.
That voice you hear on the Extra Inning Postgame Show, a good friend of mine, Tim Flannery. Tim, you played 11 years up the middle at second base. Footwork around second base is so important. Tell me what you saw with Brandon Crawford. Caught the ball at the base, knowing where his feet were supposed to be, and then Pearl throw to first base.
I wouldn't be surprised if we put a blindfold on him and hit ground balls in areas. And once he caught that ball, he knew exactly where the base was, because he came in early where you still could break up double plays a little bit. So he had to also be ready to get up in the air and move around the base runners. But He just, you know what he is? He's a low-maintenance player. He's one of those guys a manager loves because all you got to do is put his name in the lineup. You don't have to motivate him. You don't have to get his hey, get your dauber up. Get your dauber up if he made an error. You don't have to motivate him. And he was very, very tough. As kind as he is, and as soft as people think he is because he's soft-spoken, he is the toughest player, the one that I've coached, and the best base runner that I've ever coached because he's prepared, and it's a passion for him, and it was just an honor to, when you look down a lineup or you get guys on base and maybe I'll have somebody behind him that's not Brandon Crawford, you've got to say, okay, I don't have to worry about Brandon. He knows how to do this. I'm going to keep my eye and all my focus on the back runner because sometimes they get lost in the whole, balls in the gaps and things like that. But Brandon was great. It was great to have him walk in the clubhouse every day. He's very calm. His personality was very settling for the clubhouse as well, and he's everybody's friend, and he's a pretty good DJ too.
Well, Tim, finishing up on the defensive side, of course, in the World Series against the Kansas City Royals, the crucial double play he made with Joe Panic up the middle, where Joe ended up flipping it behind him like a flip from the ground. And Craw grabs it and throws to first base, a bang-bang play. Just a crucial double play in a game that the Giants had to beat the Royals. And let's reflect on that because you watched it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the play that turned the tide and won the game for us. But what Brandon did, too, and when he got that flip, he doesn't have a lot of time to take a crow hop and get your momentum going towards first base. He threw that ball like from the hip, like a gunslinger, and it was perfectly accurate and with a lot of strength on it. So that was just another. And he prepares for it. Those plays aren't. If you watch him the last 5 minutes, because Ronnie Wotus was always working with him, he would hit him 100 ground balls, but the last 15 or 20. All the other guys on the other teams knew that it was like watching Steph Curry, I think, at times. They all knew that he was going to be putting on his little tricks, and he would practice behind the back, through the legs, stuff that's not going to happen during the game most of the time. And Wotus wouldn't let him do that until he got to that point in his workout and his game preparation, to let him fiddle around with that. And you just never know. I mean, it's not something you'd like to put on the cover of a magazine saying this is the way you feel the baseball. But as you well know, baseball doesn't always go where we think it's going to go. So it's nice to be able to practice it.
Well, Tim, the highlight reel continues as we talk about some big-time hits that Brandon Crawford got. Yes, and in his first game in Milwaukee, you were there in 2011. Yeah. Came up and hit a grand slam. The short-haired, no-beard, 24-year-old running around the bases. How exciting was that for the Giants?
Super. It was super because, again, when he came up, we knew he was the glove guy. And at the big league level, it takes a while to get yourself comfortable in order to figure out how they're going to pitch you, the arms you're facing now. And he never, he was probably hitting lower in the lineup at the time too. So you're not getting all the pitches. They're going to pitch around you a little bit, or they're going to mess with you. And he did a great job adjusting and not getting down and continually he just worked hard and hard and hard. And yeah, I definitely remember that home run. I remember so many of them because I always said he's my favorite player, and he is my favorite player I've ever coached because of his personality, of his attitude, of his work habits, and what he brings to a ball club as a team member. He makes everybody around him better. He made me a better third base coach because he always got great reads because he knew where the outfielders were playing. He knew that the scoreboard shows you how to run the bases, how many outs. Are we behind runs, so we got to be a little bit more conservative, or are we going to roll the dice a little bit? He had a great feel for the game. And there's so many of them. But the one, again, we're going to bring up, and I know you're going to bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up first because when we go into Pittsburgh and we have to win a wild card game. And we had just got Michael Morse. And Michael Morse is saying, oh, my gosh. He said this to Buster, and then Craw, he goes, oh, just one game wild card? This is weird. This is kind of scary. And Buster and Craw said, "Hey, Mike, we know how to do this. We win these games. We know how to win these games." And that's what happened over that 5-year period where we won 3 World Series. But that was the noisiest ballpark I'd ever been in Pittsburgh the first couple innings. And when Brandon hit that grand slam, it was quieter than any library I've ever been in. And and when he came around third, I shook his hand. I said, "Oh my God, we're going to do it again." It's like he grabbed the momentum, and here we go again, because they know how to do it because they've been through it.
Well, in 2016, Tim, this is a feat that I know you didn't do, and I haven't really seen it myself. He went into Miami and got 7 hits in one game. Of course, the game went in 14 innings, but 7 hits, 5 singles, 1 double, 1 triple, 10 total bases, and he ended up getting a game-winning hit in the 14th inning. Let's go back to your days in hitting. You watched the great Tony Gwynn. I don't even think Tony Gwynn had 7 hits in one game.
No, he didn't have 7 hits in one game, but he had 7 in 2 days. Because Tony was special as well, man. But again, it's all from hard work, because Brandon didn't come up. He had to make some adjustments. When you get to the big leagues, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I hit 346 in every minor league level. And you get to the big leagues, and you know it too because you pitched against me. All of a sudden you go, "Well, why is everybody pounding me fastballs in on the hands?" Because I struggled with that pitch because I was mainly hitting the ball up the middle the other way and in the gap. So it took me a year to go back to the minor leagues and then back to winter ball to learn how to hit that pitch. And he had to make those adjustments on the fly. And a lot of times your offense, especially a young player, you make outs. It's going to affect your defense. It's going to affect your home life. It's going to affect everything because you think you can't get away from it. It's everywhere. And he was able to compartmentalize, put that in a whole nother spot and said, "Okay, that's hitting. Now I got to play defense. I got to run the bases." He separated all of the facets of the game. And that's something that young players, it's very difficult to do because you get overwhelmed by everything, by the pressures. And for him to be able to slow the game down is like we all talk about, because that's what happens especially when you play in the big playoff World Series games. The games go by, it happens so fast. The moments. And I remember when I was working at MLB Network with Brian Kinney, I said to him, "There's some things you can't, they aren't tangible." I go, "Those games, you can't breathe at times. The game speeds up. You can't stop your thinking." He goes, "Well, Tim, that's not tangible." And I go, "Well, I used to vomit after some of the World Series games. It's pretty heavy, and that's tangible to me." Craw knew how to separate it and how not to get wrapped up in it.
A few more minutes with Tim Flannery on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. Tim, Brandon Crawford made 3 All-Star teams, 2015, 2018, 2021. Bruce Bochy and your coaching staff was there in the 2015 All-Star game at Great America Ballpark. Buster Posey, Madison Bumgarner, Joe Panik, and Brandon Crawford making his first All-Star appearance. How special was that for you and your coaching staff to see 4 members of the Giants in that All-Star game?
Well, it was, again, I was gone by then, but from a distance, sitting on the couch, you still have all your hard work in players when you leave as a coach. You're always a coach. It's not like you do it one time and then these guys still would come back, ask questions. We were a part of something very, very special. It was the highlight of my career, just to be able to come up there and I've said this before, and everything I did as a player, and all the years playing, and then all the years coaching in San Diego, all the years minor league managing down in San Diego, prepared me to come up to coach for the San Francisco Giants. It was the greatest baseball time of my life, and all of these guys, to watch them continually get honored. It's not anything I say I had anything to do with, but I was there with them, and it's just very fulfilling to know that history will always say that about that team and those people that played on that club. And to watch them from a distance is even more fun. You know, sitting on the couch and watching them play, that was still fulfilling because you knew you still had blood and sweat and tears with them.
Final one for you, Tim, as we look at a 14-year career for Brandon Crawford. It all started when he was 5 years old at Candlestick Park, holding a sign that said, "Mr. White, do the right thing. Keep the Giants in San Francisco." To a 14-year career for Brandon Crawford. Some great awards, some great acclaims of being the best with 2 World Series championships. If you take an overlook of what you saw with Brandon Crawford when he started and what you see of how he is today, what do you think about a Brandon Crawford career?
I think it should be a movie. I mean, you think about a kid growing up with, I mean, you start with that, you know, and you start with his sign, you start with his love for a team, and then the chances of being drafted by that team, as you well know, is that's an extreme chance as well because you got other clubs picking you. So for him to be able to come into that hometown team, and a lot of times people can't do that either because of the pressure of being close to home. He handled it great as a man, as a father, as someone in the community with his help with the charities that he supports. But the character of the guy, the character of the man of Brandon Crawford is what every father wants their son to be. He and every coach wants their player to be. He's the best I've ever been around, and it's not always numbers. It's what you bring every single day for 162 games in 180 days. So, yeah, lots of people can be great for a day or two, but the ones that get beat down, slumping, find a way mentally to get over that and to trick your mind and to continue to stay positive, and that's what he could do.
Very well said, Tim Flannery. I appreciate your time today. Some great memories that you had with Brandon Crawford throughout his career, and it's always great catching up with you.
Thanks, Tree. I'll see you down the road.
All right, that was Tim Flannery on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Georgie Brothers Furniture Showroom is a full-service home furnishing store located at 211 Baden Avenue in South San Francisco and has been in business for 92 years. It is one of the Bay Area's best-kept secrets. Still operated by the third-generation Georgie family, their goal is to offer expert and personal service as well as white glove in-home delivery. Georgie Brothers also features a Simmons Beautyrest mattress gallery. Get a great night's sleep at an amazing price. Come visit our 50,000 square foot showroom, which is full of beautiful quality furniture pieces. You can also visit them at GIORGIBROS.com.
listening to the former Giants righty. It's KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey as we finish out a Saturday, and what a glorious day at Oracle Park. From the celebration of Brandon Crawford to the walk-off base hit by Patrick Bailey. Two great wins for Giants fans today. The Giants win 3-2. They're 18-10. They're 4-2 on the homestand. Tomorrow at 1:05, Jack Leader pitching for the Texas Rangers against Jordan Hicks pitching for your San Francisco Giants. You get that first pitch right here at 1:05. I want to thank Tim Flannery as my guest today, as well as my producer today, who was Cole Lapelt. Did a great job, and Kyle picking up all the phone calls. And thank you, Giants fans, for making Extra Inning Postgame Show a fun show with all of great calls and great memories of Brandon Crawford. Tomorrow after the game, we'll be right back on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. J.P. Martinez, the pitching coach, will sit down and talk to me about how good this pitching staff has been for the first 28 games. And I sat down with Carson Wisenhunt, the number 2 prospect coming up in Sacramento, and he's pitching lights out for the River Cats. For Bill Laskey, be safe, be well, have a great rest of the night, and we'll have more right here coming up on KNBR, the sports leader.
It's another great outing for the righty.